Hey, it's Elisa. I'm back for another reading. I'm going to start with, I've been doing this deck a lot, the Mystical Shaman Oracle. This is one of my very favoriteest decks. It's very wise. A lot of good messages. And I think today I'm going to do a reading about, we're right in the middle of eclipse season right now, and the readings that I've been doing, I did some readings for New Year's, especially the New Year's Day one, and the readings leading up to that. And then I did one recently, a couple days ago, on the Divine Feminine, because I was kind of triggered to do that from the New Year's readings, and also this coincidence that happened, which I went into in the reading, and it was just really big energies with really big shifts, and you know, we're right in the middle of the eclipse, the two eclipses, the solar eclipse that just happened, and that reading was really big as well. So yeah, basically I want to do a reading for eclipse season because there's obviously a lot that's kind of shaking out right now, and see what kind of wisdom we can get for that. As we kind of move through this energy, because it's huge. So, okay. I got the Seer, which is interesting because this one came out in the Divine Feminine reading that I just did also. And then we have the Arrow. So, it's really crazy because this is like a really interesting evolution from the Divine Feminine reading, which I would highly recommend looking at. I'm going to link it here. But that one, it was like the Seer and the Crow. So it was like, the Seer is a card of like seeing things through your mind's eye and sort of, you know, following your intuition. And in that reading, there was this huge truth that was revealed, you know. And so it was kind of like, this is a natural evolution from that situation. So it's just like, you know, following your intuition, this truth was revealed. It wasn't because, you know, someone was like outing someone. It was just time for it to come up, you know. And so by following her intuition, you know, in that reading, the Divine Feminine was like perfectly positioned for her highest outcome, you know. And but what's interesting is we get the Seer, which is the same, you know, advice of like following your intuition, but then we have the Arrow, you know. And so this is more of a card of action, where the other card was just sort of, you know, in following your own path, you know, these truths are going to be revealed and karma is going to happen according to how it's meant to, you know. But this is a card of taking action. Like, this is a moment in time. It's your moment, and it's your moment to like shoot your arrow, to like respond, to take action. And it's all about, it's beautiful that it comes out with the Seer, because it's just sort of like when you're in alignment with your highest, you know, good, and when you're in alignment with the universe, it's like you can have faith that when you release your arrow, it's going to hit its target exactly as it was intended. So it's just sort of like, you know, there's been all this stuff unfolding, and obviously for some time, whatever this situation is that's coming to a head right now. And this is kind of a moment to sort of hit your arrow. I mean, you know, release the arrow and trust that it's going to hit its mark exactly as it was intended. And that's really interesting too, because with the New Year's readings, and I feel like it was the New Year's Day reading, and it was all about this situation that had been, you know, plaguing these people for some time, and like there were like kind of like two parties that were involved, and they each got the Chariot card, which was like a moment to take control, you know, to take control of the situation and right it, you know. So pretty interesting for overall energies. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going with this because it's a pretty interesting reading so far. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to my tried and true Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot, and I pulled it out of the deck, and on the bottom of the deck is the Two of Cups, which this is a deep love, a deep soulmate connection. And there have been a number of storylines that have kind of been intersecting around this this deep love connection that's been blocked by this toxic situation for some time. So some threads that reference that would be the Dynasty thread, also the Epic Love Story thread, the Divine Feminine thread. So yeah, all these different characters are intersecting around this storyline. And that is the situation that seems to be kind of coming to a head in this moment, which is, you know, is pretty interesting. So I'm going to pull 3 cards from this deck to see if we can get just sort of a picture about what's happening, because there's definitely a big story that's, oh my gosh, wow, that's coming to a head right now. Okay, wow. Okay, this is crazy. So at the bottom of this deck we have the Nine of Pentacles. So this is interesting because this was a really dominant energy in the Divine Feminine reading, which I referenced earlier and I put a link to. But, you know, the Divine Feminine was embodying this energy in this moment in time. And, you know, in that reading, it was like this bird was kind of representing, you know, the truth. And the truth was like on her finger, like had landed on her finger. And so she hadn't really, there was this big conflict that was happening around her, and she didn't really engage the conflict. You know, she just kind of focused on herself. She was like this swinging single. She was creating her own abundance. She was in her own power, and she was just focused on herself and not really doing anything. But the truth had just like landed on her. So it was like almost like there was this situation unfolding all around that had been kind of coming to a head for a long time, and then all of a sudden the truth was revealed, you know. And so yeah, that was a really interesting reading, which I would check out if you're resonating with this storyline. But the 3 cards I got, so we got the Star card, Justice, and the 7 of Pentacles. So this is an interesting narrative that's coming through. So, you know, this is a card of wishes coming through, of manifestation. It can also be an Aquarius energy. And then we have a card of Justice, which can also be a Libra energy. And this card is a card of sort of planting seeds, you know, for like a new beginning. So it's almost like, you know, whatever situation it is, like, you know, that needs to be righted, like the arrow is going to hit, it's going to hit its target, and someone's wishes are going to come true. Justice is going to be served. Whatever situation, wrong situation that was happening is going to be righted, and then this is going to plant the seeds for a new situation, you know. So this is, it's pretty cool, you know. I'm going to pull, this is obviously a situation that it's been like a toxic situation for some time, that's seems to have impacted a lot of people. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to pull out this Healing Light Tarot because this is a situation that seems to require some healing. But it's funny because I pulled out the deck and we got the 7 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So this is a card of deception, you know. And there's been a super huge theme right now during this eclipse season of truths being told, and, you know, not people not being ready to hear them, you know. And so that's an energy that orbits around deception, you know. I mean, that can sometimes be a super huge impetus for deception. It's just like people walking on eggshells around other people who aren't ready to hear the truth. But then, you know, this is This is the foundation for a toxic situation because people can't be honest about, you know, reality. And so there's some major, it seems like, reality checks that are coming through right now, and it's kind of a big deal. So I'm gonna pull a couple more cards and see what we get from this. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh my gosh, I just got this whole pile. I'm going to take that one because it was at the bottom, but holy crap. All right, this is kind of too many cards. I can't really get much. But I'm just going to pull a few more and see if I get a little bit more. Because what I'm getting from, that was just like total emotional vomit that just came out. So, you know, but that happens. You know, it's just like when things have been kind of boiling for a long time and they haven't been addressed, you know, and then there just comes a point when everything boils over and like some big change happens. And that seems to be, you know, what's coming through with this eclipse season. Oh my gosh. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, one more card. This is really like pulling together a lot of threads that have been recurring for a long time. So it's almost like these storylines have been kind of stuck at this plateau for a long time, and they're just like coming to a head right now. Okay. All right. So I've got the Hangman, the Devil, and the Six of Cups. So this is, it's beautiful, but it's totally pulling together all this stuff. So this Hangman is a card of, it's a card of reflection and sort of taking a step back and kind of evaluating what needs to change, you know, or how you want to re-engage a situation. But oftentimes, you know, after this period of reflection, you realize, you know, what needs to change, and some things kind of has to be sacrificed in service to that, you know, like in order to support this change, you're going to have to sacrifice something, you know, which goes along with the whole truth being told, reality checks, you know, energy that's been really prominent. And then the next card we get is the Devil, which, you know, this is a card of a toxic situation. So it's almost like this toxic situation needs to go away. This is what needs to be sacrificed in order to bring in this new energy, which is the Six of Cups. You know, so this is like a soulmate energy. It's like a reunion of a love from the past, which this is also a huge energy that's been coming through for a while, you know, and it's been stuck, and it's just been like bubbling just beneath the surface, but not coming through, you know, and it's like because it's been being blocked by this toxic situation. So then we have the Five of Pentacles, the Two of Cups, and the Knight of Pentacles. So this is crazy because, again, this is a storyline that's been coming through in a number of different threads in a number of different ways for a while, and it's been stuck, and it's just been... So this card, the Five of Pentacles, is a card of lack. It's a card of not feeling worthy, of not being enough, of not having enough, or feeling like you don't have enough. And there's a whole thread around this because this is the energy that's been basically the foundation for this toxic situation. So there's a thread called stalkers. And, you know, this is a super prominent energy in that thread because this is the energy that supports that toxic situation, you know. And so it's just, this is the energy that needs to be healed in order to bring in this Two of Cups, this soulmate, deep love connection. And, you know, again, this is a storyline that's been coming up in so many threads, like the Divine Feminine thread, the Epic Love story, the Dynasty thread. Those three threads have all been kind of circling around this very similar storyline of this wrong needing to be righted, to sort of right this toxic situation and bring in this love, which is interesting because that's exactly how these cards fell in this reading. So crazy. And then, but the next card we have is the Knight of Pentacles, which this card has been super prominent in like the Divine Feminine readings, a number of readings around these same storylines that are all intersecting in this climax right now. And it's just sort of like, the advice here is just slow and steady wins the race. Like, if you want to heal this situation, it's not going to be an easy fix. So the advice is to take it slow, but don't give up, and just slow, steady effort. And this message has come through so much, in this advice. Like, there's not going to be a quick fix to this situation. So this is like a card of, a cautionary warning, Don't think you can just snap your fingers and fix this, because this is going to require healing, for all the parties involved. And it's going to take time. So, I'm going to go back to the Bianco Nero just to get some clarity on the situation. Because I feel like this black and white deck, we got the Ace of Cups, an offering of big new beginning in love at the bottom of that deck. So, but this card is, it's black and white, so it's super grounded. And I'm just going to see what we get for here. See if we get a little bit more clarity about what's going on, because these are like big, big energies, and like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm going to try to link together as many other readings as I can, but this has just been like threads of readings, like all coming together for months leading up to right now. And like, I mean, that's kind of, oh my gosh, these two things fell out together. Kind of how eclipse season works, So we have the Five of Wands. So this is a card of resistance, which, it's clear there's been resistance, this toxic situation, and this lack energy, is dragging this situation from moving forward. And so these are energies that need to be worked on. Like, they're not easy fixes. Then we have the Empress, which is interesting because this is the divine counterpart for the Emperor, which is a huge energy that came through in the divine feminine reading, which I keep referencing. But that came through, like, justice needs to be served for this Empress in order to heal this situation and bring this love in. And, she is this divine counterpart. And then we have over this pile, planting the seeds for a new beginning of a soulmate love from the past that we need to take sort of slow and steady action towards, because it's not an easy fix. The two cards that fell on top of that, because two accidentally flopped out, we got the Two of Cups again, and we got the Hierophant. So this is like a deep soulmate love connection, and this is a card of marriage. So this is the beginning of like a life partnership or a marriage. So it's just sort of like, this situation needs to change in order to bring in this union, which goes along, oh my gosh, so much with the dynasty thread. And, this is the divine counterpart in that dynasty thread. So this is like a really like blazing clear message that's coming through. So it's pretty wild. Pretty wild stuff. I'm going to pull a couple of cards from some oracles just to end the reading on. I'm going to pull one from Sacred Traveler. All right. Okay, so it says, in the flow, everything is smooth sailing. So that really goes along with this message here. Like, if you know, if you're in alignment and you stay in the flow, like, you're going to hit the mark. So trust and have faith in that. It's like these can be really trying and difficult situations to work through, but it's going to be okay, because, like, you know, you've got the support of the universe. And so then I just split this gateway card, and I got coming into power, step boldly. All right, I step into my power boldly and confidently. Like, this is your moment, an opening to love. My heart is open. Wow. This is like a really super crazy clear message. So yeah, it's a totally beautiful reading for eclipse season. I'll come back with some more readings, because obviously there's like a lot of energies to be moved through. And there's like an eclipse happening on Friday, but there's also some huge astrological alignments that are happening this week, so it's pretty wild. Like, I'm sure there's more readings that are going to come through, and I will keep you posted.